When Ace had one, Joe.
That was Ace's mistake.
Silver Screen Legends, Westerns, 1940s to 1960s. After the commercial successes of Westerns in the late 1930s, their popularity continued to rise until the 50s, when the number of Westerns produced outnumbered all other genres combined. The period from the 1940s to the 60s has been called the Golden Age of the Western, epitomized by the westerns of several notable directors. Today, we will talk about some of these directors and the westerns they made. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscription button to get my new videos. To check out my many other videos, head to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it. Robert Aldrich, Apache, 1954, Vera Cruz, 1954. Aldrich entered the film industry in 1941 when he got a job as a production clerk at RKO Radio Pictures. He soon worked his way up to script clerk, then became an assistant director, a production manager, and an associate producer. He began writing and directing for TV series in the early 1950s and directed his first feature, Big Leaguer, 1953. Bud Boetticher, brilliant, distinguished American director, particularly of westerns, whose simple, bleak style disguises a complex, artistic temperament. Boetticher formed a partnership with actor Randolph Scott, which led to a string of the most memorable western films of the 1950s, including Seven Men from Now, 1956, and The Tall T, 1957.
Means they've headed back into the hills.
They're done with killing, for now anyway.
Then we should be in Lordsburg for tomorrow with no trouble at all.
Yes, ma'am. No trouble at all.
Delmer Daves, Broken Arrow, 1950, The Last Wagon, 1956, 3:10 to Yuma, 1957. Daves entered films as an actor. After appearing in several pictures, he began collaborating on screenplays and original stories. He wrote scripts for many of Hollywood's best films of the 1930s and 1940s. Turning director, of the many films he made, the westerns he did were especially close to his heart. As a youth, he spent much time living on reservations with Hopi and Navajo Indians.
The Last Wagon. You lived in it, you fought in it, you loved in it.
Well, right on time. I won't have to wait. There's still time to get out of this, Dan. There's still time.
John Ford, Stagecoach, 1939, My Darling Clementine, 1946, The Searchers, 1956, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. John Ford is arguably the greatest American director. When Orson Welles, who repeatedly screened Ford's Stagecoach as a crash course in filmmaking before helming his first film, Citizen Kane, 1941, was asked who his three favourite directors were, he answered, John Ford, and John Ford.
Dude. This time, right between the eyes.
George Roy Hill, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. George was never able to hit it off with the critics, despite the fact that two of his films, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and The Sting, 1973, remained among the top box office hits by 1976. His work was frequently derided as impersonal or lacking in stylistic trademarks, referred to as idiosyncratic, odious oiliness. Hill himself shunned the limelight, avoiding appearances on chat shows and often kept the press off his sets.
Is that what you call running? If I knew you were going to stroll.
Howard Hawks. Red River, 1948. Rio Bravo, 1959. El Dorado, 1966. What do the classic films Scarface, 20th Century, Bringing Up Baby, Only Angels Have Wings, His Girl Friday, Sergeant York, To Have and Have Not, The Big Sleep, Red River, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and Rio Bravo have in common, aside from their great craftsmanship? The answer is director Howard Hawks, one of the most celebrated of American filmmakers, who ironically was little celebrated by his peers in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences during his career. Henry King, The Gunfighter, 1950, The Bravados, 1958. For more than 3 decades, Henry King was the most versatile and reliable, not to mention hard-working, contract director on the 20th Century Fox lot. His tenure lasted from 1930 to 1961, spanning most of Hollywood's golden era. King was renowned as a specialist in literature adaptations and for his nostalgic depictions of rural or small-town America. Much of his work was characterized by an uncomplicated approach and a vivid visual style, rather than cinematic tricks or technical individuality.
For all of you, it'll be daybreak. But for these 4 men, it'll be the midnight of their lives.
Sergio Leone, the Spaghetti Western Dollars trilogy, featuring Clint Eastwood. A Fistful of Dollars, 1964. For a Few Dollars More, 1965. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, as well as Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. Leone was born into the cinema. He was the son of Roberto Roberti, one of Italy's cinema pioneers, and actress Bice Valerian. Leone entered films in his late teens, working as an assistant director to both Italian directors and US directors working in Italy. He started writing screenplays and began directing after taking over The Last Days of Pompeii, 1959, in mid-shoot after its original director fell ill. His first solo feature, The Colossus of Rhodes, a routine Roman epic, but his second feature, A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, caused a revolution. It was the first spaghetti western and shot Clint Eastwood to stardom. Anthony Mann, Winchester 73, 1950, The Man from Laramie, 1955, The Tin Star, 1957. Anthony Mann was born on June 30, 1906 in San Diego, California. He was a director and writer, known for El Cid, 1961, Men in War, 1957, and The Glenn Miller Story, 1954. He was married to Anna, Sarah Montiel, and Mildred Mann. He died on April 29, 1967 in London, England.
I told you not to start anything.
Sam Peckinpah, Ride the High Country, 1962, The Wild Bunch, 1969. If they move, commands stern-eyed William Holden, kill 'em. So begins The Wild Bunch, 1969. Sam Peckinpah's bloody, high body count eulogy to the mythologized Old West, pouring new wine into the bottle of the Western. Peckinpah explodes the bottle. That exploding bottle also christened the director with the nickname that would forever define his films and reputation, Bloody Sam.
Let's go.
George Stevens, Shane, 1953. Stevens, a filmmaker known as a meticulous craftsman with a brilliant eye for composition and a sensitive touch with actors, is one of the great American filmmakers, ranking with John Ford, William Wyler, and Howard Hawks as a creator of classic Hollywood cinema, bringing to the screen mytho-poetic worlds that were also mass entertainment, one of the most honoured and respected directors in Hollywood history. John Sturges, Gunfight at the OK Corral, 1957, The Magnificent Seven, 1960. John Sturges was a film director, mostly remembered for his outstanding Western films. In 1992, Sturges was awarded a Golden Boot Award for his lifelong contribution to the Western genre. Sturges' first Western was The Walking Hills, 1949, which used film noir tropes in a new setting. The film involves treasure hunters searching for a lost wagon train carrying gold bars, but many of the characters are hiding secrets, and there is a manhunt for a wanted fugitive in the area.
You hear that, Sotero? You hear what he said? Ride on. To me.
Jacques Tourneur, Canyon Passage, 1946, Wichita, 1955. Tourneur went to Hollywood with his father, director Maurice Tourneur, around 1913. He started out as a script clerk and editor for his father, then graduated to such jobs as directing shorts, both in France and America. He was hired to run the second unit for David O. Selznick's A Tale of Two Cities, 1935, where he first met Val Lewton. In 1942, when Lewton was named to head the new horror unit at RKO, he asked Tourneur to be his first director. The result was the highly artistic and commercially successful Cat People, 1942. Tourneur went on to direct masterpieces in many different genres, all showing a great command of mood and atmosphere. King Vidor, Jewel in the Sun, 1946. Man Without a Star, 1955. Vidor was nominated 5 times for the Academy Award for Best Director, without ever winning. He was nominated for the feature films The Crowd, 1928, Hallelujah, 1929, The Champ, 1931, The Citadel, 1938, and War and Peace, 1956. He won an Academy Honorary Award in 1979. Part of his modern fame rests on an uncredited part as an assistant director. Vidor directed the scenes set in Kansas for the novel adaptation The Wizard of Oz, 1939.
Tomorrow goes for a man without a star. There's just no sense to build and fence, not if you like to wander. Each hill I see is calling me, go yonder, yonder, yonder.
William A. Wellman, The Oxbow Incident, 1943, Yellow Sky, 1948. The Oscar-winning screenwriter-director of the original A Star is Born, 1937, was called Wild Bill during his World War I service as an aviator, a nickname that persisted in Hollywood due to his larger-than-life personality and lifestyle.
And we want all of it. There's plenty more left here. If that girl and the old man want it, they can dig for it. I've waited all my life to make a killing like this, and I'm not giving half my share to anybody.
William Wyler, The Westerner, 1940, The Big Country, 1958. A filmmaker who, at the time of his death in 1981, was considered by his peers as second only to John Ford as a master craftsman of cinema, the winner of 3 Best Director Academy Awards, second again only to Ford's 4. Wyler's reputation has unfairly suffered as the lack of an obvious signature in his diverse body of work denies him the honorific auteur that has become a standard measure of greatness in the post-Cahiers de Cinema critical community. Fred Zinnemann, High Noon, 1952. Initially grew up wanting to be a violinist, but while at the University of Vienna, decided to study law. While doing so, he became increasingly interested in American film and decided that was what he wanted to do. He became involved in European filmmaking for a short time before going to America to study film. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the subscription button so you will see all my new videos as they come up. Take a look at my channel to see my many other videos. The link is in the description. Leave me a comment. Check out my Facebook page as well. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. I am Wrangler. Adios. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.
Go ahead and die stupid.